wasn't just of energy that they spent in their meetings, but also the relative proportion of meeting time compared with individual task time. And it turns out the more that workers spent in meetings relative to doing individual tasks, they took fewer breaks, like things like a little short walk or a casual conversation or brief fun reading. And fewer breaks reduce their energy level at the end of the mornings or afternoons, which then decrease their task performance, their creativity, and their job satisfaction. Um, the other conclusion was that they found this pressure complementarity effect, where that was very beneficial for energy. So examples are, you have a high pressure individual task. It's stressing you out. It requires a lot from you, a lot of cognition or a lot of sheer effort. And you combine that with some low pressure meetings in the same day. Or you have a very high pressure meeting where you're kind of on edge, or you have to do the major amount of presenting and maybe a difficult colleagues to work with. And you combine that with low pressure individual task in the same day. To the extent that people did that, they had more energy in terms of vigor and the other aspects that they were measuring regarding energy. And this, however, was only pronounced during the morning hours. At the end of the day, regardless, in the afternoon, regardless of whether you combine the high pressure and low pressure tasks, it didn't have an effect on energy, perhaps because you're already worn out by the end of the afternoon. So going back to this practice of stacking meetings, it may, based on these findings, create an imbalance in time between meetings, especially if you go back to back, which I can certainly relate to, and individual work. So you may not have even any individual work in between, which may reduce the opportunity to take a break. That reduces your energy, and then that may reduce your subsequent performance. And the practice of pairing everything difficult in a single day so that you maybe free up later on, it may create some undue pressure without enough opportunity to restore your energy going forward. Especially, for example, if you do that to yourself on a Tuesday and then you have another busy day on a Wednesday, and you're not allowing enough time between for replenishment. So your energy may suffer in subsequent performance and satisfaction. So some things to consider. You want to pay attention to the proportion of meeting time to individual work, not just the amount of time you're spending in meetings. This goes beyond that to consider this other factor of the balance between all the time you're spending collectively with other team members, meeting and engaging, and the work that you need to do individually. You want to complement meetings and individual tasks. And ask yourself some questions like, how will this scheduling decision impact this balance between meetings and individual work time? And how can you perhaps try to create more balance for yourself that way? Will adding this meeting to this day sacrifice any breaks that I have, especially if I'm going back to back and I may not have the opportunity to replenish? How can you avoid those back-to-back high-pressure meetings in a row? And asking yourself, is there a better spot for this meeting to facilitate a better mix, a better balance for myself, high pressure, low pressure tasks, so that I'm not depleting myself? Obviously, a lot of this depends on individual differences, and extroverts may prefer more of the meetings and introverts may prefer more of the individual meeting time. And so it's a lot of other factors to consider in trying to implement these results, but it's worth paying attention to. So I wanted to pass it along.
Thank you so much, Susan. Such a great statistic on time wasted in meetings, and something we definitely have to work to address.